FM Rewind. VOW 88.1. That Lunch Show.
It is about that time where we also get into our book club conversations. And today we're taking a very interesting detour, going all the way into the woods and nature at large, as we're chatting to Francois J. Labeur, who's here to chat to us about his book, Bush of Lessons for Business, which uses lessons from nature to offer practical insights for business success. Drawing his experience observing wildlife, Labeur presents 25 lessons that focus on unlocking potential, adaptive learning, and also simplicity in business. And the book also features wildlife photography, which I love so much, personal anecdotes, and also QR codes linking to video content, which is such a cool feature to incorporate in a book, which is also designed for busy professionals, as it provides actionable advice, and it is also endorsed by industry experts, as he also plans to expand his approach through masterclasses and retreats. As he's joining us, good afternoon, Francois.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I was about to ask you, how are you doing this afternoon, man?
I'm doing great. I've had a great day so far.
Is this what a regular day for you looks like, being in a radio station? I don't think it is, or even doing interviews like this, because I would like to believe your day-to-day life is on a field trip with guests and, tourists, just going on expeditions and taking photos of the nature and also teaching business.
Yeah, I think it could be like that every day. A business coach. So I'm actually, in business, but when I'm in the bush, and that's where get all the ideas sparked from sharing my lessons for the business of the bush into business, because that's such strong parallels. Yes. And
you having incorporated almost two different industries, because I don't think a normal person would wake up one day and say, we're going to incorporate the bushveld with business. Chat to us, how did that inspiration even come about, or you finding, or the inclination to even incorporate them into a whole business?
Yes, the traditional way of learning, I've studied a lot, and I'm a lifelong student.
Yeah.
And read about, for 10, 12 years, on average, a book a week. And my own business coach actually challenged me and say, but Francois, how you develop yourself and your own personal growth, and you love the bush so much. What about just change that and see how that works, and then I think, because I always shared with him what I've seen in the bush and how does it apply to business, but I never thought that at that stage it would become a book. So because it's experiences in a book, and then I immediately, when I see that experience, I immediately think, but that's just like in business or life, and that's using that instinct and see share what I'm seeing, and how does that apply to business?
I love that, using your own personal anecdotes to also incorporate them in your money-making sort of scheme or quote-unquote business. I love that incorporation, man. And it does make mention here that your hobbies include travel, wildlife photography, cooking, wine tasting experiences, reading and running. Tell us, when it comes to cooking, because, we are, of course, that lunch show, what's your favorite meal to cook for your hosts?
As a South African, must be a braai.
Of course. And what sort of beverage are you also serving with the side?
I love good red wine, but also great white wines. It's one of the areas that we go every year as a couple of couples, and visiting all the wine farms over now for maybe close to 10 years, just to experience the richness of that, and learning also in terms of the wine industry, supporting that, and it's about live life fully.
Love that.
Yeah.
Live life fully.
Yeah.
His name is Francois J. LeBeau, joining us here on That Lunch Show to talk about, his book that he's got called Bush Lessons for Business, which really incorporates, the nature life, but also the business part of things. Joining us is, of course, an author by the name of Francois LeBeau. And I just want to put you on the spot quickly before we go to news, headlines, and, of course, sports, right? It's just a little bit of a icebreaker in a way, just to see if you know your stuff that well. I mean, you're an author, you've read so many books, over 800 books that you've read, over many hours into really understanding the knowledge behind the book. So I think this should be an easy breeze for you. All right, so it's really general knowledge questions, and I think you should get it and know it. All right, so the first one is, who wrote Romeo and Juliet?
Shakespeare.
Okay, but who Shakespeare?
Sorry?
Who Shakespeare? Because Shakespeare is a surname. Is the last name
William?
There we go, William Shakespeare. What is the name of the young wizard in J.K. Rowling's famous book series?
My daughter will laugh at me now.
She definitely will laugh at you for sure. So you don't know it?
I know it, but I can't actually think of it now immediately. I've got a blind spot right now.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, of course.
There we go. All right, so which novel features a character named Atticus Finch, a lawyer in the American South?
I don't know. You must ask me Bush lessons.
Who is the bear that loves honey in A.A. Milne's famous books?
I don't know.
Winnie the Pooh. There we go. But I mean, the conversation in which we're having right now is Book Club Conversations, as we're joined in studio by quite an amazing author and, of course, a businessman. His name is Francois J. LeBeau, who's here to tell us about his book, Bush Lessons for Business, which uses lessons from nature to also offer practical insights for business success. And Francois, I want to find out from you, right? Your book encompasses and combines the nature's wisdom with modern business challenges, right? Can you share some specific examples of how a survival strategy in the wild can be applied to today's business world? Because I also read a part of the lessons in the book, which is the elephant effect, which also encompasses leveraging others' efforts, right? Yeah, chat to us about that.
Yeah, well, yes, I think, when you take nature and wildlife, it's about adapting to situation. It's about resilience and survival. And there are so many things that you can see. So that specific lesson that you referred to is we saw a zebra, actually his head totally dug into a hole in a riverbed. And when I saw that, I stopped and actually said, what is that? And then when he lifted his head, the water was dripping, from his mouth. Yeah. And so it means that, got water there. But who actually then, dug the hole? And that's elephants. So the elephants in dry seasons, they know they have an incredible sense of smell, and then they can actually smell the water underneath, in the riverbed, and with their feet they will actually then dig a hole, and that's how they got water. And then the zebras will actually then also smell that, and then so the elephants paved the way. And in similar ways, business as well. Who are the pioneers in your industry that we stand on the giants of others? And actually then say, it is not to reinvent the wheel, is, what is already there, and then leverage from that. Okay. It could be improving a product, it could be improving a business model. So it could be many different ways of how to, so that's why it's so important to learn from others, so that you can always improve on that. You don't have to actually start from scratch. And I think that is the main lesson about that one that you're referring to. And then also when you think about the impala, there are about 140,000 plus impalas in the Kruger National Park. But most people will just drive by, not really paying too much attention to them. But when you really study and see how they adapt in dry seasons, because they normally would eat grass, but during winter times they would go and actually eat leaves. So they adapt to the circumstances, and in the same way, as business owners, and not only business owners in life, so when the environment changes, when so you have to adapt to stay ahead. Otherwise, you will actually stagnate. So there's also how do you adapt? What do you need to change in terms of your strategies? Certain strategies got a sell-by date. It worked in the past, but not necessarily anymore. Also, maybe processes, people. You have to take your A game to the market.
Of course.
And for that, you need A players. And how do you identify and recruit A players and develop people to constantly growing?
I love that. And I mean, you make mention about, adapting and iterating when it comes to you being in that sort of space, but also collaborating and partnerships. Because I think this book, while having skimmed through it, I realize it can fit in your everyday today life. It's not just a one read and then, you implement it in one thing. You can really implement it in a number of things, because on one of the pages, it mentions that, collaborate and partner, which is to network with experts, tapping into knowledge and experience. And I mean, in this industry in which we're in, which is media and broadcast, I can definitely say that I'm always trying to leverage on who my next contact is. Exactly. And people could possibly think, it's a bad thing to do. Yeah. I'm leeching on people, but what other way am I going to get to the top?
Absolutely.
And I think also in the analogy of this book, perhaps you could use it in a sense that an animal could be killed and a leopard or a lion can take that kill from a hyena, because that's oftentimes how it's seen, where a person comes up with an idea, someone hijacks it and makes it their own, and they run with it, and someone then becomes very upset, but it's a lesson, and you have to be very quick and adapt. But we also do know that the nature is very full of diverse perspectives, and how can businesses also benefit from embracing differences, these different viewpoints, much like how ecosystems thrive in variety?
Well, I think you alluded to that. So the one lesson there is about the klipspringer. The direct translation to English would be a rock jumper, but klipspringer is the common name, and they have a lifelong bond with their partner. And actually, it is said that they always make sure that the one sees the other, and that is to protect themselves, to protect their specific territory. In the same way, so the lesson is the value of extra eyes. Who are the extra eyes, in your life, in your business, in whatever area you are. So because we are, so you run at 160 kilometers an hour, you actually, can feel very isolated and very busy, but you have your blind spots. And you need other people like coaches, life coaches, business coaches, mentors, industry experts, mentors, other people that help you to thrive. You can get to a certain level by yourself, but you need other people, and I think that is crucial for success. We do not only want to survive; we want to thrive, and then it is a better life for everyone.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the book, you offer a through my lens anecdote and perspective in each lesson. Can you share one of the stories that highlights a key turning point in your own business thinking?
Well, I think So, in fact, what this bush lesson, what triggered it is actually, if you can look at my my own business and life, is that you could get so easily bogged down in the day-to-day activities and not breaking out from normal routines. And one of the lessons in the book is actually to break free for energy and life. And what triggered that was a young elephant that actually the whole herd was on their way to a water hole. And the young elephant actually broke away and chased a terrapin. Now, I mean, a terrapin is such a small animal, and immediately when I saw it, I always have my camera on my lap, and I took it, and I actually thought, but it is just like, we're going to out of business, to break away from, in our case now, going into nature, into the bush. That's where you get your revelations from. That's where I actually get the insights from that you can't necessarily always get in the theoretical, in the books. So you have to have both. You can actually, and I think that is, and businesses. In general, you could become a captive of your own success because you actually think that you have to be there all the time. And I'm saying that to break away could be your catalyst for change.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, I mean, that, so you think you have to be there. And I've seen, in terms of my own clients as well, that because they sometimes have a fear of going away for a long time because what will happen with the business. And only to come back, and actually in some instances they say to me, the business actually doing better without me there.
Yeah,
and I think that is to get new, fresh perspectives. The business is so, the world becomes so complex, and we have to have we don't need complex solutions.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, and I think that is where my message as well, from the book is, it's about some, I'm saying become brilliant in simple things, be simplistic, in simplicity, and where is a better place to actually then break out into areas where you feel, but you know what, I feel free, and that's a lot of insights that you then get from that.
Truly incredible words coming through from Francois Leboeuf, who is a highly respected business coach, mentor, and speaker, as he specializes in guiding entrepreneurs and executives through proven strategies to boost profitability, efficiency, and leadership effectiveness. As we are currently about to wrap up this conversation with Francois Leboeuf, who is a very unique coach, who has a unique coaching philosophy which draws on lessons from nature to drive business excellence, offering a tailored business coaching services for professionals seeking to elevate their business. And for you, Mr. Leboeuf, Francois, what are then your parting words in this book and also from this conversation that we're having with you?
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it is don't strive for perfectionism. Embrace imperfect opportunities. So there's always, either you win or you learn. And so often we overthink things. The world becomes more complex.
Yes.
And yes, there's you have to know your stuff, but don't actually. And I think unfortunately that's where many people sabotage what is truly possible for them, because we only perform at a fraction of our potential. And actually to discover yourself in a new way is part of that growth, and it's that self-discovery which is so fulfilling, and that you start realizing what is truly possible. Now, yeah. So I think. When you do what you love and do become brilliant in simplicity, take action when you know this is the right direction in terms of your vision and your purpose.
I love that. Having to personally add simplicity in my life is going to be a bit of a challenge, because I like a bit of fabulosity. But I mean, I love the simplicity in this conversation that we're having, and the way you just imparted us with your knowledge. Where can people get the book and access it?
Yeah, it is currently self-published, so the best they can actually Google Bush Lessons for Business. Just remember the 4 is a number 4.
Number 4,
and that's the reason for that. Business is about numbers, and it also gives direction, for in direction. So Bush Lessons for Business, or can send me an email as well, Francois Leboeuf @actioncoach.com. And then we'll be in touch and get all the information and make sure that you know how to get the book. And
there you have it. Where can also people find you on social media, real quick?
Yes, yeah. So on social media, Francois J. Libber, or Francois, the Game Changer Coach.
Oh, there we have it. Yeah. Francois J. Libber joining us here on That Lunch Show, a South African author and business coach who has released a book titled Bush Lessons for Business with the number 4, Unlocking Your Possibility. And the book draws on Libber's observations on nature and wildlife in Africa's national parks to over 25 practical lessons and offering you on how to really encapsulate nature's wisdom and can be applied to modern business challenges. On the flip side, we're going to really park the conversation, but also really close things up for the show, as it's been quite a mouthful. It's such a good time, man. I really hate that we have to leave, but that's that.
That Lunch Show. FM Rewind. VOW 88.1.